Our panelists are some of Liberia's brightest and best political analysts from diverse backgrounds, like Vandala Patrick, Dr. Lester Zomatic Tene, Al Hussein Fadiga, Samson Brown Toole, Daniel Sando, and Eugene Lamin Fangon. Nightline Liberia begins at 8 p.m. with 60 minutes around the country, bringing you updates from LBS correspondents. Nightline Liberia's final segment kicks off with its panelists and pundits from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. as they propound on trending national issues. Nightline Liberia. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
When we work together, there is nothing we cannot overcome as a people. This is why I ask all of you representatives of our people to join me to do the business of the Liberian people by not doing business as usual. I challenge you to join me to think Liberia, love Liberia, and build it.
It's Nightline Liberia every Monday to Friday beginning at 8 p.m. on ELBC Radio, 99.9 FM, and other frequencies around the country. The Department of New Media and Rebranding of the Liberia Broadcasting System presents Nightline Liberia. From the valleys of Liberia to the top of Wologisi Mountain, Nimba, Grand Kipma, River G, to the coast of Sino, Bassa, Bong, Riverses, Maryland, Margibi, Grand Cru, Bapolu, Grand Jide, and Monserrado. We present to you Nightline Liberia, a primetime talk show loaded with factual news, fresh information, not fiction. Nightline Liberia. We set the tune. We control the airwaves. We are the nation's pride, the biggest platform. Our panelists are some of Liberia's brightest and best political analysts from diverse backgrounds, like Vandala Patrick, Dr. Lester Zomatic Tene, Al Hussein Fadiga, Samson Brown Toole, Daniel Sando, and Eugene Lamin Fangon. Nightline Liberia begins at 8 p.m. with 60 minutes around the country, bringing you updates from LBS correspondents. Nightline Liberia's final segment kicks off with its panelists and pundits from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. as they propound on trending national issues. Nightline Liberia. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
When we work together, there is nothing we cannot overcome as a people. This is why I ask all of you representatives of our people to join me to do the business of the Liberian people by not doing business as usual. I challenge you to join me to think Liberia, love Liberia, and build it.
It's Nightline Liberia every Monday to Friday beginning at 8 p.m. on ELBC Radio, 99.9 FM, and other frequencies around the country.
Welcome to another edition of Nightline Liberia. I'm here with Fabian Queer, and the rest of the team will be joining us later. Fabian, take it away. Introduce the show. It's your day.
Thank you. Well, good evening, everybody. Let me take this time to welcome you all to another edition of Nightline Liberia on ELBC Radio 99.9 and other frequencies across the country, and also on LNTV Live. This is a prime time show that is loaded with facts and not fiction. Please invite your friend or someone to share the live as we discuss issues that matters. Well, today is Tuesday, July 30, 2024, and this is the edition. Let me also welcome Our panelists tonight are
Something.
Samson Toll is there from the USA, and
Guess.
our guest Daniel Sando has just walked in the studios, and I'm also here tonight with the Flow. Cisse Goya will be joining us later. Thomas Gua will also be joining us later on this show. So let me welcome Samson. Good evening, Samson, or wherever you are.
The liberal, can you hear can you hear her?
Yes, I can hear. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
Good
can hear
evening.
you. How are you this
Yeah.
evening?
Yeah, thank you for that. Well, good evening to you. We're here in Sacramento, of course, and we will be
Okay.
here every day that you guys permit us to be on your show. We will be here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for having you on every night as usual and from afar, right? It's been a while. Daniel, how are you?
Well, Fabian, I'm doing good, and it's good to be back on the show. We've been engaged with the functionaries of government in order for the rest of the time since we're here. Let me say good evening to our listenership, the Liberian people who are dispersed across the country, who are now listening to us. It's always a pleasure to be here on Netherland Liberia to speak to issues of national concern. You know, Liberia is our country, and we have an obligation to duly inform our people. And so, getting in office at 7:45, 8 o'clock in the morning, leaving at 5:45, 6 o'clock, and then coming here at 8 o'clock up to 10, 11 o'clock is part of the duty that we have to our own country. It would take pleasure in that. The way we're going to perform on the stage is going to distinguish us from other who has said before us. So it's always a pleasure to be in your studio. Let me say good evening to D Flow. I see the management team of the LBS is doing extremely well to ensure that television, radio is brought to the doorstep of every Liberian. Is a good thing. If we can do this uh, every step by the way, any anywhere you find yourself in public office, I think our country will become a better place over the next couple of years.
Let me
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be
let me
here.
say good evening to you too. You are here tonight as a guest, not as a panelist, representing the Ministry of Information, by the way.
Certainly.
Okay, Fabi.
And certainly we will be joined by Koto Chala soon. And so in few seconds, we will kick off the show, this edition, July 30th, 2024, Tuesday's edition of Nightline Liberia. I didn't welcome T-Flow, so what's up?
Thank you for welcoming me, Fabi. Always nice to be with you in studio. Anyway,
And
is there a
together,
night? You,
no,
I would
together
just
interchangeably, we will be.
no. This you, Fabi. This is your turn, and this is your authority. This is something that we're passing it on to you.
Oh, really?
Yes, take it
Oh.
away from that.
Okay. So that was the voice of D Flow. And tonight, as I said, we will be here. We already have our guest in studio who we earlier welcomed in person of Daniel Sando. And we will be discussing pertinent issues up to a little later around 10 or 10:30 or so. And so on this show tonight, we at a point in time we will open the line for callers to interact, and then we'll have time limited for our panelists to speak to the issues and not going overboard. And so to kickstart tonight, there are several issues that have been trending, and people are still discussing those issues. And we thought it wise to bring it on the table so at least that we can have a gist of it with our guest who's from the government arm of information ministry here tonight to give us his thoughts, his views on the program tonight. Well, how was first of all? Let me begin. How was the Independence Day?
Well, the Independent Day, the 177 Independent Day celebration was splendid. It was colorful. It was successful. The government, through the Ministry of Information, issued a statement commending Liberians from across the 15 political subdivision for the peaceful, joyous, and colorful manner in which the 177th Independence Day of our nation was celebrated. It's normally a period of reflection. And too often we forget that this country 200 years ago became a place of comfort for people fleeing slavery, the bondage of slavery from across the Atlantic, and they came here along with the indigenous people, and together they established what has come to be known as the first independent republic on the continent of Africa. And from that period up to present, regardless of our own historical lapses that we have along the way, we have proven to be a people who are very resilient. Resilient in the manner that we are not easily let down. We are very courageous people. And this is why we are the sweet land of liberty. And efforts are now being made to rebrand this country by the government through the Ministry of Information. We have an Office of National Branding. Efforts are now being made to explore the tourism potential of our country and make it better. So all of these are happening at a time when we are celebrating 177 years of existence as an independent nation on the African continent and on the community of nations.
The oldest, by the way.
The oldest.
Yeah.
The oldest. The first independent African republic. So yes, when I'm asked how was the Independence Day celebration, it goes just beyond the festivity. It's a period of historical reflection for us as a country, where we come from, where we are, and where we are headed as a country. I think it's a moment where we have to pause and give ourselves a pat on the shoulder. Where we come from, where we are, and where we are headed. We have a great potential ahead of us as a country. When you listen to the president of the country, this country doesn't lack anything. We have everything that any country needs to thrive in the 21st century. And it is only as a matter of leadership ingrained in the principle of transparency and accountability that we can use to get our country working, and the people of this country can benefit from the dividend of democracy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It was very, very colorful.
Very colorful. Very successful.
Attended, saw the culture through people dancing on the side. People were attended.
Yeah, but like I said,
my first program, Independence Day program, in 20 years. That was the first time. I was very impressed with the activities of the day. It was very impressive. From the back the training center to the pavilion, it was all colorful.
And I spent almost my entire day here because I came to work early, and I was here trying to make sure that things are done.
I was at 4 a.m.
Yeah, and then we gear up for the 2 p.m. news, and then for the 7 p.m. But anyway, that was great, and we had a great time, and that was also colorful as we all celebrated our 177th Independence Day. Now, let's get it rolling. There are several issues tonight we will be discussing, ranging from the recruitment of individuals and applications of vetting for people that want to enter the system as immigration officers, And then we will also have to.
We're talking to information. We're going to go straight to information. Now, let's maybe we should leave immigration for Dixon when he comes.
Okay, so we go about with.
Let's talk about the press conference
the
today.
press conference today. Okay, great. It's one of our talking points.
Yes.
So Daniel, there was a press conference today, and Minister Pierre said a lot of things. He made mention of the accused officials, and then something that he said that caught my attention at that press conference was that the matter of the fact he tried clarifying that they are reporting several quarters that those officials that have been accused have been witch hunt, but rather he said they are not being witch hunt. There's a way for people to also see to it that the issue of transparency and accountability should be shown and felt within the process. And so, what do you make of what the minister said today as he did a clarification concerning those former government officials that were arrested yesterday and taken to the famous South Beach?
First and foremost, I would like to premise my presentation here from the backdrop that the government campaign on the matter of transparency and accountability and fighting corruption. We also have to understand that the president, His Excellency President Bouaka, has an experience period that spanned over 40 years, over 4 decades of public sector, relevant public sector experience, right? And this experience comes with no dent of corruption, with no print, with no trace of corruption to his public service record. So that's why the anti-corruption fight was at the core of the campaign that the rescue mission ran across this country during the 2023 presidential elections.
That's correct.
So it shouldn't come as a surprise when steps have been taken by the government to indict officials of the former government on what the government sees as probable cause. And so, why is it that the indictment was issued? I've already told you what we campaign on.
Yes.
Why was the indictment issued? The indictment was issued because
it was a promise.
Not a promise.
Okay.
Not a promise. The indictment was issued because there was an investigation conducted, and these investigations have found these people culpable, meaning that they are at fault. Right?
Okay.
They are at fault. And the public should not be surprised. This is just one of many ongoing investigations.
Wow.
It's just one of many ongoing investigations. Mind you, one of the lead defendants in that indictment, Mr. Samuel Toure, the former finance minister.
Okay.
And I don't want to make the conversation about him because there are a whole lot of things we got to talk about yet. Sanctioned by the United States government. Why was he sanctioned? For the very financial malpractices, money laundering, and the list go on and on. Few days ago, the police listed him as person of interest in the death of the former FIA boss, Bati Niswa.
Niswa.
The LACC indicted Mr. Toure in the investigation. Now, there are so many of our people who do not know why the government, the state, indicted Mr. Toure. There's a whole financial syndicate that involved big money, huge sum of money, that Mr. Toure wrote the central bank governor, ordering the central bank governor to pay money or to deposit money or to transfer money into the account of the financial intelligence agency, account that is a Central Bank of Liberia.
Okay.
So today at the press conference, the Minister of Information gave a play-by-play description, right?
Let's hear that.
And I would not read verbatim what he wrote.
No, absolutely not.
I would not read verbatim what he read today, but I would just like to give you the record, the transfer record, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It says to carry out the illegal and unlawful scheme in July 2023, defending. Okay, so let me not read that. Let me just read the transfer record. What they transfer from the central bank to the FIA account on September 8, 2023, 55,442,540 Liberian dollars was transferred on the instruction of Mr. Samuel Tue to the central bank governor. Right?
Okay.
Then on September 19,
okay,
in furtherance of the illegal and unlawful scheme and conspiracy, defendant Samuel D. Tue, then Minister of Finance and Development Planning, wrote another letter to the executive governor of the CBL authorizing and instructing the CBL to transfer from the government of Liberia GOL account maintained with the CBL to the FIA Liberian dollar operational account the amount of 999,700,000. That was the second transfer, right? Okay.
Do we have the account anyway?
The account number is not there.
Oh.
Now on September 21st.
Okay.
The first one on September 8th.
Okay.
The second one on September 19th.
Okay.
The third one on September 21st. Still in furtherance of the illegal and unlawful scheme and conspiracy, defendant Samuel D. Tue, then Minister of Finance and Development Planning, wrote another letter to the executive governor of the CBL authorizing and instructing the CBL to transfer from the government of Liberia GOL account to the GOL Health and Social Security account, and then to the FIA United States dollars account, operational account, the amount of 500,000 United States dollars. So when you go through this whole thing that was read today,
Yes.
see, hence, between the period September 8th to 21st, the total amount that was transferred by the CBL to the FIA operational account maintained with the CBL were $1,055,152,540 and 500,000 United States dollars. But all of these things amount, we're talking about over 6.5 million. 6.5 million. That in the month of September alone.
Just in 1 month.
Yes. Samuel Tue, the FIA boss, and the other co-conspirators were just swimming in the Liberian people money. Okay? It even goes on to say the FIA is not a member of the joint security.
What? Really?
Jefferson Camo wrote a letter declaring the FIA to be a member of the joint security.
Is that in violation of the...
It is in violation of the new security law.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It is in violation. The FIA is not part of the joint security of Liberia. So because it was a scheme how to get this money in their possession. So there's a whole investigative report carried out by the LACC, which I will share with you at the end of the show.
Okay, let me hold you there.
Let me let me talk.
Okay.
So the president, when this thing was brought to the attention of the president, the first thing the president did was to suspend the FIA boss. Okay, 4 was suspended and subjected to an investigation. The indictment that was announced on yesterday was a result of the investigation conducted by the LACC. Now,
The rate of arrest is different.
I'm coming. The rate of arrest. I'm coming. The rate of arrest is grown out of the indictment. Because the government of Liberia, the grand jury indicts you.
Yes.
Then they go to the court to pay for the rate of arrest.
Okay.
So the indictment was drawn based on the investigative report from the LACC.
Okay.
Okay. So I like to conclude by dispelling. I like to conclude on the premise by dispelling the speculation that the people from the other political side are saying, oh, they witch hunting the people. There's no semblance of witch hunt here. Nobody will ever witch hunt anybody. And that's the reason why this government did not even commission a separate audit to audit the Joe-led government. We said, let us wait. The GSC is there. When the GSC concludes her audit, we'll use this audit to unearth some of the financial malpractices, right?
Yes.
That went on in this country for the last 6 years. Today, the GSC audit is coming every day. The president has acted swiftly to even suspend without pay the executive governor of the Central Bank of Liberia, because all of these things happening under his watch as executive governor. They were in violation of the Central Bank Act of 1999. They didn't care about the law. So we have come to make a difference. And people have to give the government a chance to make that difference. That making that difference will mean that you operate within the confines of the law to do the right thing. So when people are given opportunity to serve in public positions, it is not a carte blanche to go and take public money and swim in it. People who could not build themselves one bedroom houses, going to Canada, articles, buying houses for themselves, that public money they're using. When the hospitals in the country are without drugs, when the schools are without instructional materials, and you take public money and you go elsewhere, build mansions in some instances, it is unacceptable. And so there's no witch hunt. We are operating within the confines of the law. And those who are saying that, oh, why are we not going back to say, oh, we want to investigate what happened over 12 years before Mr. Weah became president? It is not the prerogative of the government. The prerogative of the government is to ensure that the administration it inherited did not transgress financially. So if there's any financial transgression, if there's any financial transgression that occurred during the last administration, and that transgression is exposed in the ongoing audit report, we will act appropriately. So people should not put a political spin on it to say, well, witch hunting anybody. There's no reason why this government that is headed by a distinguished statesman, will want to witch hunt anybody from the opposition. No, there's no witch hunt, but people have to account for their stewardship. In fact, that was one of the reasons why Liberians, in their numbers, voted for President Bouaka, because he has said, I remember when he appeared on True FM that morning, he has said that officials of government who acquire unexplained wealth will have to account for their stewardship. That pronouncement motivated, inspired many Liberians to join the rescue mission. The rescue mission was voted. We are not going to sit back, fold our hands, and allow these culprits to go scot-free. The president has taken steps to end the culture of impunity in Liberia, and that step just goes beyond the establishment of the Office of the War Crime Court. It also extends to fighting corruption, going deep into this audit report. The PSC has taken this report. They have commenced public hearing, and I trust the ability of those on the PSC committee. I believe in the wisdom of the legislature. They will investigate and they will submit their findings. They cannot change the outcome of the audit report. When the findings of the PSC hearing are submitted to the president's office, there will be more indictment. People have to account for their stewardship, and I beg to differ that can be lacking to any form of witch hunt.
Let me just hold a deputy minister for information for public affairs. You were sent to public affairs or not yet?
I'm public affairs destined.
Public affairs destined. So you got to go to another confirmation. So let me spin and go to our panelists here.
Let's welcome Cisse.
Let's welcome Cisse Guia. Cisse Guia, we have the deputy minister here, Daniel Sano, tonight. So go ahead.
Hey, Deputy Minister, it's nice to meet you. I think he's spoken well about the issues of folks accounting for public trust. When you are appointed to a government position, you are entrusted by the public with resources, and you must account for them. And I agree with him to the extent that people are claiming the metaphorical witch hunt, I think is laughable. I think, like I said yesterday on the show, I think it's a good thing that they are given the opportunity to go to court to either clear their family names, because there have been people in the past Sirleaf government that were assumed and accused of stealing state resources. Those folks were never charged. They were never allowed. They were never given the opportunity to go to court to clear their names. And some of those people died, and their families will have to live with the assumptions that these people stole public resources and died with it, and never given a chance to clear their name. So I think anybody that's been indicted should see this as an opportunity to once and for all put in the public space the evidences that they have to clear their families' names. And for me, I grew up in Lofa County. D-Flow, you know, we had a guy called Kwetambo. Kwetambo was the witch hunter. And so for me, getting away from the metaphorical witch hunting to the literal witch hunting, I think we should be hunting witches, literally. I think if you are able to steal from Liberians to live an affluent life, and you deprive Liberian citizens of the right to have quality and equitable education, or you are stealing money to pad your bank accounts, when in fact we have people in villages like Zlowo where you have to be put in a hammock and put on people's back. Pregnant women are being carried their way, and sometimes they are giving birth on the way, and they are dying in childbirth, when in fact there are money available that could be used to save those lives. I think you are a witch if you do stuff like that. You're a witch if you steal money from poor children. And so you should be hunted as a witch, literally. I think the Kwetambo has come to town, and the Kwetambo is calling people to account. My only question for the deputy minister is, given this politically charged that we live in, how do you hope to sell the idea of accountability being a good thing for the common person, the common voter, like the people from Munapena Youngblood University would say, the downtrodden? How do you convince the downtrodden, the everyday people, that going after people who have stolen from the state is in their interest, in the interest of their families, so that they are now used to be placed in the streets to protest against their self-interest?
Can I respond to that?
Sure.
So, very good question. Very good question. And I think this question brings me to the point where we will have to do more talking. Not talking to mock at people who are being indicted, but talking to educate our people. Because corruption has a way of fighting back. And this goes to the folks in the CDC. There are many decent young people in the CDC who call me today and say, so somebody told them how they can have money in the country and was suffering. And I told them, I say, it goes back to you. His family, sorry to mention his family, the loved ones don't live in this country. They go to school outside.
That's correct.
They go to school outside the country. Why? Is Liberia not better for them? So Liberia is a farm where they come to harvest and to support the loved ones and family out there. So people, whether you're from the CDC or not, you have to understand that our material condition in this country is so terrible because of public corruption. We can't go to good school because somebody who's supposed to buy instructional materials will sit at the Ministry of Information and eat the money. You listen to the international partners when they issued a report the other day.
Yes.
That over 90% of the drugs that they bring to Liberian government end up in private drugstores. Right?
Yes.
Even in the referral hospital, JFK, they will write you prescriptions to go to Lucky Pharmacy. The other day, before the tunnel says, the president visited JFK. He said no patient will cross the road of Lucky Pharmacy again. So the conversation the president had with the JFK authority will lead to the pharmacy at JFK being equipped. They will have a mini bank there, and they will build a very furnished pharmacy to supply drugs to the hospital.
So basically, this narrative is going to change by convincing those on the other side that this is your money.
They have no benefit of corruption.
Okay.
This man will be he can be your political counterpart. He can be your political leader.
Yes.
He can be your friend, your political party. But the money in store from this country, you're not benefiting. He's saving that money in foreign bank accounts and paying taxes to different banks, different countries. But the Liberian economy is being strangulated. So our people have to understand that they are the victims of corruption. And there's no need to listen to that man who will take public money and go get married in Paris and say, oh, they witch hunting me. How can a lawmaker go to a central bank and you take 40,000, 80,000 in the name of corporate social responsibility?
Yes.
That assumes the bank want to support corporate social responsibility. It has to be done in concert, in partnership with the community, right?
Yes.
But you go to the bank, you collect money in cash, and the other report say this lawmaker came to the bank and took money. When they ask you, say, oh, that corporate social responsibility, what do you do with the money? So our people are the victims of corruption. And there's no reason why they should stand in solidarity with anybody who is accused of corruption. Because the government did not make up the report that was published by the LCC. In fact, it cannot be any form of witch hunt. We all know the people at the LCC, the current people at the LCC were appointed by who? The citizens of their government. So are they now saying to us that the very people they appointed there are against them?
Yeah.
That argument doesn't make any sense. We're in a public space. And when you say something, the Liberian people are not stupid. When you say something to them, it should make sense. The very people your own government appointed there, even when the Senate objected to the nomination, you use your political power on Capitol Hill to confirm them. Today, they conducted an impartial investigation and indicted former official of the government. You say is witch hunt. Where's the witch hunt? There's absolutely no witch hunt here.
But there's one way in this country to put something to put it under the rug when you start using the word witch hunt.
It is not Deflo.
Yeah.
I mean, Sisi asked a very sound question. This question must go down the spine of every Liberian. Because this is how politicians abuse the ignorance of our people. They enter public office. They change their life over weeks, over months. When it comes to accountability, they say, no, they wish something bigger from the other political party.
Yes.
The government did not commission any audit. As a matter of fact, the audit report that we're using to prosecute people were conducted even before President Baga became president.
But let me hold you here before we go to the Liberal here. Why is it that we as the government is trying to take these people to court, and we have war and economic crime code that is supposed to be established, monitored by the international community? Why can't we wait? Why can the government wait to see that the process is laid out before the international community, or what? We have to do it now. The reason why I ask that question, we are talking about our country. Today you take somebody to court, tomorrow they beat the system, and they come back and say not guilty.
So I would not want to circumvent or to second guess the process of the court.
Okay.
I do believe that the Chief Justice is striving to make significant reform within the judiciary. And I would not want to treat the judiciary like an outside child. The day do go appreciate when they do bad, no, I can't do that.
No.
Right? So the government, that's why we say we speak for the whole government. It's a whole government approach, right? So we believe in the credibility of those at the court. We believe in the credibility of the evidence that led to the drawing up of the indictment. We cannot wait for the war and economic crime code to be set up before we prosecute. Why? Because some of these offenses that they committed or they're accused of committing have statute of limitation, right?
Okay.
So that's why it is good you do it in time frame without prejudice. There's no mindset to start wishing on anybody. And that's the reason why, I like the wisdom of the president. There were people calling for the president to commission an independent audit of the government. If that independent audit was conducted And in that, anybody will say, "Oh, the witch hunting." Why go for the GSC?
I see.
Today we waited for the GSC. The GSC has come up with findings. We used to the prosecutors say, "Oh, the witch hunting." So whatever way, so different, right?
Yeah.
Whatever way you do it, these agent of corruption who savage gang ripped this country apart for the last 6 years, they're not going to agree with you. So that's why we are going to remain steadfast. There are people who voted for President Bouaka who support the government. They will call us. Ever since you took over 6 months, no prosecution. And I would say, you have to wait. It's better it's not done than to be done in a hurry manner.
Okay.
Today, we have the first report. Tiflo,
yes.
When I leave here, I will send you the report. When you read this report,
yeah,
there's no way that people will quit even defend themselves. Okay. The first thing here is that the Financial Intelligence Agency is not part of the joint security.
Oh, it's
not.
It's an international.
No.
Okay.
It's a financial integrity institution that's meant to monitor financial transactions, all in the name of making Liberia compliance with the international standard of fighting money laundering and terrorist financing. Right? Fine. So you read a letter admitting the agency to the joint security. Why? Because you had a scheme, and that scheme was to channel money to the FIA and get the money to yourself. The investigation unveiled several things. Who did you use the money for? Who received the money? You can't call the people name. So they have to account for the money. Okay, we are talking about 6.5 million.
Yeah. Let me, Minister.
And people hiding themselves.
Let me, Minister. Permit me to hold you there and bring Samson Brown from the US there. Samson Brown, please. Let's hear from you, Samson Brown. Samson.
Thank you. Am I audible enough?
Yes, you are audible enough. Go ahead, Deborah. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. I also want to welcome you here and thank you for availing yourself for us to have a honest conversation with each other. I want to thank you for the possibility of engaging you. I appreciate that. Let me just say something here before I go through my line of questioning. And the question is not because you're on the witness stand, but that you have agreed to have a conversation. So when I use the word question, does not mean that I'm putting you on a witness stand. I'm just having an engagement with you. I want to make that point clear. Now, Mr. Minister, those of us that are not members of Unity Party, but that we support President Bouaka and all of his ideas, because we believe they're good for our country, because we have followed him for a very long time and follow everything that he has done and stated most of the time, and that they are in the interest of the Republic of Liberia. One of the things that we always cry for is that your ministry to actually do what you're doing now, and that is providing information to come out on these particular issues, which are very sensitive and very important to Liberians to understand what it is that is going on. Because the other side, and I call the other side, they are our brothers and sisters, but they have on a very different political persuasion. So I'm calling it other side, not because they are strange to Liberia. They are Liberians, full-blooded Liberians, so I'm not trying to exercise them from that perspective. However, the minister, what you have done here tonight, demonstrate that yes, indeed, this government is ready to provide adequate information and truthful information. By the way, and so when they come out, are you listening, Mr. Minister? Can I go ahead?
I think D-Flow muted their mics. You are audible. I think they're listening. Their mics just muted.
I want full attention. I've been out here going about almost 30 minutes full attention to the minister. I demand the same respect. I'm not here to we're talking Liberia. We can be vacillating when I'm having conversation with you and you're going all the place. We're not going to have that. So let me continue with my train of thought. And that is the fact that you are here tonight to give Liberians the information for which these individuals who are also Liberian, who also have supporters that are being indicted. Now, the indictment process itself, I'm not a lawyer, but I think these things are very degrading to the human mind. They are also degrading to the human character. But for you to sit here and say, we are not witch hunting, and these are the reasons, and to enumerate all of those reasons, I think it makes all of us feel good that, yes, indeed, this government is in good hands. However, Mr. Minister, I will caution you very strongly from a liberal perspective. And that is when you are given the opportunity, you're serving not just this government, the government is representing sedition as well of Unity Party C. The government is representing every Liberian. And so when you are here to talk for us, which we really do respect, I will hope that we try to stay away from our own personal characterization of situation. Let us stick within the confine of whatever you have, which is very truthful. You're not making any story up. But I will caution you very strongly that sometimes, as a human being, it's easy to do that. But I will ask you to resist that urge so that you will stay within the information that is in the public view and whatever it is. For example, you said something, I was joking down something here. You said, they mean the indicting, and they go take money, and the house they purchase houses. That is not part of the indictment. One thing. Another thing, you also say nobody should sympathize with any of the accused. Now, why will you make that judgment? To curtail me, Samson, to who I associate with. If those people are yet to be found guilty, now you as a mouthpiece of the Republic of Liberia is telling Liberians not to associate themselves with folks who are being accused of corruption. Mr. Minister, if we take this route, then I will not fault those brothers and sisters who would then come and accuse me as a strong supporter of this government of being someone who supports witch hunting policy. And as a liberal, I am strongly saying to you here tonight again, please let us stay inside of what is happening, because these people, Liberia, need to be told the truth. And you have done that. You're not making stories up. I'm just saying that we should try our best to stay out and bring in our own little sentiment as we discuss these things. Thank you for your attention. I appreciate it.
Liberal, do you have a question for the guest? He's a guest tonight. He's not on the panel. He's a guest tonight. He's our guest.
Yes, I know. I don't have to ask a question here. We're gonna go ahead for a very long time. We got about 2 or 3 more hours.
And you want to respond?
Yes. So I get the liberal perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I too subscribe to liberal ideologies.
Okay.
But his colleague, Sisi, asked a question.
Yes.
He said, how do we address the fact that people try to buy into public sentiment?
Yes, correct.
To rally their support base around them because they are politicians, right?
Yeah.
So I was not questioning the people who themselves are victims of broken promises,
Mm-hmm.
victims of public corruption.
Mm-hmm.
I was only urging them not to stand in solidarity with these people, because the act which they are accused of committing are the reason why the material conditions of the Liberian people are so deplorable. So they can be in solidarity with the same people who victimize them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was saying. Okay, so I got your point. That we should stick to the issues and not try to get personal feelings involved. I was not personal about it. But we have to question our people. We are on an obligation to do that, because if somebody go and cause a political rally and say, "Oh, they against me because I'm from CDC," then they try to evade the issue. That's the point from which I was coming. They try to indict me because I'm for the opposition, and then automatically people from the opposition will begin to rally around that person. And so I was cautioning them against the question that I was asked by Sisi. How do we address it? Because people try to buy into public sentiment. We have a country where people listen more than read. The information I have to my disposal, many persons in the public don't have it. That's why we have to come on the radio to educate.
But that's one of those things that Mr. Tue, the former Minister of Finance,
that's what he's doing.
He mentioned in his post that they are witch hunting.
No.
Because he's trying to, I'm not sure. That's what he mentioned in his post. I saw his post.
So but, all I was saying, to the liberal, all I was saying, I was trying to caution the people not to be in solidarity. Of course, I expect him to go to the court to get a lawyer. Family, loved ones can stand with him. But if you want to take it from a political perspective to rally your political base and incite them against the government on grounds that the government is going after you because you are from the opposition, then we have to set a record straight, because there's no indication that the government is witch hunting anybody. There's no indication that the indictment that was drawn against Mr. Samuel Tue and co-defendant is because they are from the opposition or because they serve the past government. No, there should be dignity in public service. When you serve your country, people should be able to respect you. But when you cross the line, and that line is public corruption, we are not going to condone that.
Okay, let's welcome Thomas Gore. Thomas?
D-Flow, if you don't mind, let me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not ready to eat crow yet, but I usually do. But I'm not ready to eat crow yet. But let me say this here very quickly. While the minister is quite on point, I will say this here as well, is that the language in Liberia, those of you that are back home, your way of talking, the way of understanding each other. Perhaps some of us that are a little bit removed from day-to-day activities, it's difficult to understand. So I'm not trying to play down your communication process. No, say, I'm not eating crow, please. Don't talk.
That's a liberal. But liberal, let me bring in Thomas Gore. Thomas?
Yeah. Good evening, gentlemen.
Thomas, we have the Deputy Minister for Public Affairs.
Yeah, yes. I work with LBS as director, but then when I speak on this show, I speak as a private citizen. I think the minister in there is the right person to speak on behalf of the government. He's one of the official spokesman or spokesperson of the government. For me, I think that the minister's, statement aims to reassure the public, but it would be the transparency and the fairness of the judicial process that will ultimately speak louder. You see, we all can see that, given what the reports that are out there indicate, is alarming. But then, like we said the other day, the law is the law, and until these people are accorded the due process, I would refrain
innocent, right?
Saying that, they are culpable. In the meantime, we are saying that I think it's a good step the government has taken to ensure that it follows through on its promises, that corruption will no longer have a place in Liberia. So if someone has to take the lead, someone has to stand firm and say, hey, we have to prosecute it, the wrongs in our society. If no one does it, ultimately we are headed for, a failed state, because apparently what it looks like is that people have just been, around grabbing money here and there and just devouring the state coffers and, at the will and pleasure of, whatever their desires and their wishes were. So I personally think that it is the good thing that the minister even came in studio to be able to talk to the Liberian people so that they can understand what is going on, so that it doesn't appear to be, obviously it's politics. The other side would definitely try to use this as a way to play games. But it's obvious. The audit report that we are talking about is a report that was initiated under, I think, the We Are government, if I'm not mistaken, and then came through to this government. So it got completed under this administration. So it's like your own report. It's not like this government came and decided to just initiate something and run, chase after It is your own audit report from your own administration that we are looking at here. So there's no way you can say that someone is witch hunting you from your own report. But I'll stop there for now.
But do you have a question for the Deputy Minister? He's our guest tonight.
I think that the question that I would have asked, he's probably has answered that question since I came in late.
Okay.
Um,
Then
and that would have been, like, and I think I heard some of it actually. What
okay, then let's
evidence,
go
for
to Fabian.
example, or
Let
action
me go. Let me
can
cross
the
over to
government
Fabian.
present?
He hasn't concluded.
Okay, great.
I think he's Fabian. We have the deputy minister here. Take it away.
Yeah, based on all what you said, and I want to look at it from a holistic approach in the prosecution of suspected government officials. Do we expect a transparent and impartial prosecution?
So the indictment against these individuals is based on what the government believes is prima facie.
I'm a bit confused. Let me
Yes.
just hold you there when you
Yes.
say indictment, because what I noticed yesterday was a writ of arrest from the lower court.
Yeah. So I said from the beginning that the writ of arrest is a product of the indictment.
The indictment hasn't been drawn yet.
The indictment has been drawn.
From which court?
The indictment from the magisterial court.
That was a writ of arrest, so that's something different, because from the level of the magisterial court, that's a lower court, and as money is involved on monetary value, it's higher for that court. So obviously, it has to be transferred to one of the circuit courts, and so most of the courts, Mr. Minister, now they are currently closed per se, the circuit courts, and they will be opening a week from now, the second Monday in August. So when the circuit courts are open, either criminal court A, B, or C, that case will be transferred to. It's where the indictment will be drawn from the grand jurors. So at the level yesterday, that was a writ of arrest that came directly from the lower court.
Yes. So you asked a question whether there will be fair trial.
Yeah.
We got no reason.
Transparent and impartial.
We got no reason, Fabian. We got no reason to doubt the criminal justice system. We do believe that's a system that was presided over by the past government.
Mm-hmm.
We've just been there for 6 months. The president has appointed no circuit judge. He's appointed no magistrate. All of the people who are in the court right now, except for the associate justice who was just appointed and confirmed by the president, all the other justices, chief justice, judges of the or circuit court, magistrates in the magisterial court were appointed by the past government, right?
Okay.
So we do believe that they have a fiduciary responsibility to dispense justice impartially. So we do not want to, doubt the process. Once the government has, strong evidence that are irrefutable, they are going to win the case. Like I said, the government did not rush to go to court simply because it want to be seen as going to court. The government is not going to court because
of the evidence.
They have.
How strong is the evidence? How strong do we
I
have?
said it. Pieces of evidence are irrefutable.
Okay.
Irrefutable. When they take it to the court, they will convince any grand jury, any judge who presides over that case will be convinced that these people conspire illegally, unlawfully, and they formed this scheme to deprive the Liberian government of needed resources. And they diverted that money to themselves. Millions of dollars that could have been used to improve the well-being of our hospitals, our schools. They diverted it to themselves. They cannot account for it. So the report is there. Based upon the report, we are now pressing charges against them. And they have to cooperate, as opposed to them going around and saying, oh, they're witch hunting me and this and that. The government got no reason to witch hunt anybody.
So let me ask you a question before I go to take the call, go to Caesar here, Caesar Guia. So in the process of prosecution, after indictment has been put out, and let's assume one of the indictees failed to show up, what's the step? What can the police do? Because like other places, they can come over wanted with a picture of the person. What is the process if somebody refuses to show up in a court or come to the police station?
Well, the there are remedies available to the police. They could declare you wanted. They could work with Interpol based on where you are. They could work with Interpol to arrest you and have you extradited to the country to face justice. So all of those remedies are available to the government, to the state, and it is at the disposal of the state to apply on the remedies to get the wanted person or the person who is being, wanted by the court or indicted to come here and face justice. So it is in the best interest of all of these people to come and comply. On our jurisprudence, the accused is presumed innocent until proven guilty.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So you have no reason to flee your own country because a rated arrest was put up for you. Mr. Tue has multiple issues to face under the law. He was declared as a person of interest in the murder case of the former internal audit boss, Bati Yinswa. That case is waiting for him. He's been a rated arrest before the Moravia City Court is out for him.
So
he has to come to the country, because if you don't come to the country, the others who are there,
because you talk about two, from the death of one person to millions of dollars. So let's say you get convicted for one. Can the system go back again and prosecute you for the next one while you're in jail?
Well, that I can't say right now, because it will be at the discretion of the court which crime will take precedent over the other. It is not in my purview to say that, but I know that the crime of murder will take precedent over the crime of economic sabotage. But it depends which case appears before the court. For criminal investigations or process, they just invited as a person of interest. There's no rated arrest offer you in the murder case, right?
That's correct.
So it might take a couple of months before they can be able to say, yeah, we have reason to believe that these people were involved in the murder of Bati Inswa. If that happens, is he going to face trial 2 times before the court for 2 different charges? I can say that the court can answer that question.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to Mr. Guia.
Yeah.
Jesus Guia.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I wanted to ask a question on the flip side of what Fabian had asked about justice, your hope and trust in the transparency. And I know from your statement, you do still believe that justice is still blindfolded. But I have a question for you. Given the recent public utterances, press release from the Supreme Court, centering around budgetary allocations, and some of the statements that were made within that, how confident are you that the courts will still be able to dispense justice without favor, without taking into account that they have some unresolved issues regarding their funding as expressed in the national budget? That's the first question. And then the second piece is, I really like the way you're going about talking about how corruption affects everybody. And the lower you are on the economic scale, the more effect you suffer from corruption. I will hope that in addition to that, that somebody within your office would do an analysis, a numerical analysis, because I would love for people to understand that when somebody steals from the country, they're not stealing from one party. When you go to MCSS and the schools buildings, the buildings are not painted, and it's raining in a government school, and the children are saying no good school today because it rained today, they had to go home. That when MCSS register those children, they don't ask them, are your parents citizens or UPS or like me support the LPP? right? So to lay down in a way that says these people are accused of stealing almost $6.5 million. Here's how many schools this would have repaired. Here's how this could have saved the borough of Newtown from erosion. This is how it could have saved people from crossing over from the JFK to go to Lucky Pharmacy to buy medication. Putting it down into an issue that directly connects to folks, I think will go a long way in explaining to our people the ideas behind fighting corruption, not just the past government, but so that our people are also on the lookout for this current government to ensure that they're doing lifestyle audit. If I came from my private life without owning a house, a buffer, and now I own several mansions, and my salary does not allow me to own those, our people should be able to conduct basic lifestyle audit and understand when folks are funding from the government to support themselves. So that would be my one advice. But I'd love to hear from you on the issue of the Supreme Court, the funding, and your trust in their ability to still deliver impartial justice.
On low budgetary constraints, I tell you what. We come from the Ministry of Information, the government, the house that speak for government, and the challenges are all over. If I begin to narrate some of the challenges we face as a ministry that speaks for government, we'll not have time to talk other issues on the show. President Bouaka inherited a broken country that is faced with multi-sectoral challenges. So it's not just the judiciary. It is all across the country, across all sectors of government. We listened to the Chief Justice when she talked the other day and talked about the low budgetary support that was impeding the work of the judiciary. And what did the president do? He called a working dinner that weekend. And the three branches of government assembled. They converge at the ministerial complex, and those issues were sorted out. I can't say what steps were taken to address those issues, but the president himself was concerned when the Chief Justice spoke out. The president was concerned when the Speaker spoke out, and there was a need for the meeting of the minds. And the president, in his wisdom, called that working dinner, and it was attended by the three branches of government. At that dinner, the Chief Justice spoke, the Speaker spoke, the President pro tempore spoke, and the President climaxed the dinner with a remark. That was intended to address some of the concern that the leaders from the other two branches of government had expressed about budgetary constraints. The legislature is currently on break. I can't go beyond that, but I know that steps have been taken to address some of the concerns that the two leaders in the executive and the judiciary raised. But that being said, we cannot hinge the dispensation of justice to what the Chief Justice said. I know the Chief Justice, she's a woman who believes in the principle of law, and she has distinguished herself since assuming that role. And we'll have to treat her at that. She has not given any reason to believe that the credibility of the judiciary should not be trusted. And so I have no reason. The government has no reason to doubt that. If a case is taken to the court and irrefutable pieces of evidence are submitted before the court, we have no reason that the court would do otherwise. So, in the instant case, an investigation was conducted. The state believes that it has irrefutable evidence, and that's why they have gone to court. It is now on the part of those who were accused to avail themselves before the law. Some of them have done so. We are encouraging others to do so. Like I said in my premise, we have no reason to doubt that the court will do the right thing. And don't get me wrong, doing the right thing does not only mean that the government should have a or guilty verdict being brought down. Doing the right thing can also mean that the court can say that these people are not guilty based upon the pieces of evidence adduced at trial. Right?
Yes.
So we have to say it both ways. And that's why I indicated repeatedly that under our law, an accused is presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. And to prove that doubt is on no other but the state. That's why we trust the evidence, and that's why they went to the court. So that keep it at that.
Thank you. Let's
he raised another point that we have to be able to to monetize the acts of corruption that have been committed by the people. I've said, in my premise that 6.5 million could do a whole lot in transforming the referral hospital. Sisi, you travel this country during election. The 2017 election, I was in a place called Yapata in Rivers. And these nurses assigned there came to have an evening meeting with the standard bearer, the then standard bearer of the Liberty Party, Councillor Bromsky. And they were narrating how there was no flagyl and paracetamol in the hospital, in the clinic. Now, Yapata is a major town in Rivers. Next to Cester is Yapata.
Okay.
But when you live in Bikana, you pass through Yapata before going to Cester. It's a major commercial point. And
is that before Bochize?
Bochize is way behind.
Okay, I know that town. So
I have traveled this country over. We went to River G in Fishtown. Councillor Bromsky met with the nicest. They narrated similar experience. There were no paracetamol in the hospital. So if these things are happening in far to rich counties, and then we sit in Monrovia every day and we see when you go to JFK, when they finish doing all your tests, the brown people say go buy the tablet across the road there. That suggests to you that nothing is happening in this country as far as, healthcare, the delivery of basic healthcare services is concerned. So if you will sit down as an official of government and direct over 6 million to your personal use, and you see that the whole of Redemption Hospital is being taken away by sea erosion, and you see that JFK is dying gradually because of lack of support, and you see that government hospitals across the country, government hospitals cannot run effectively because there's no generator, and you take 6.5 million and divert it to your personal use, that is beyond wickedness. That is beyond wickedness. How much do you need to live as a public official? So that when people come to government, it has to be about service to your country. It can't be about increasing the size of your pocket and your bank account. It cannot be about sending your children to the best schools in Europe, America, and other parts of Africa when the government school year cannot even qualify for anybody to go to for ABC. Look at the model consolidated school system. Look at government schools across the country. They are the worst. Government institutions in other countries are the best. But come to Liberia, government-run institutions are the worst. Why public officials are taking away money that should be used to improve these institutions so that they can be able to deliver the services that the people need so dearly. And so I agree with you. If that money was diverted to equipping public hospitals, look at the CH Rennie Hospital, caught by fire. How many years ago? It took this government to say that we allot, I think, 600,000 for the renovation of the hospital. That hospital is a key hospital in Magibi. Caught by fire. It went down. No support. Go to Grand Bassa County. The government-run hospital. Sometimes I go to Bassa. That hospital, they have to beg for fuel to run a generator. There's a friend of mine who was involved in a very terrible accident. The late Joseph Gofa. Joseph Gofa was taken to that hospital that night. There was no doctor on call. There was no fuel in the generator. He bled, he died. So we have terrible experiences. So when we hear that officials of government divert public money to their personal use, it breaks my heart. And we cannot run this country like this. There has to be a departure from this system of come, grab, and go that people take public service for. People have to be accountable, and that's why this government has prioritized transparency and accountability.
Let me hold you there. Let's welcome Thomas Gorbach. Thomas.
Yeah, I'm
Go
here.
ahead with your next question.
I'm here. Are we still asking question on the corruption?
Yeah, we are still on the issue of the court. The charges levied against some former government officials.
I think the most important question has been answered. How does the government ensure that
justice?
But D-Flow, maybe we can transition to other topics.
Okay,
Yeah,
well then let's transition
topic.
to we have another writ of arrest here. Thomas, we have another writ of arrest here. Can you hear me, Thomas?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Fabi, you want to start off with this one? You don't mind?
Yeah.
That's from the court.
Yeah, this is from the court, also from the Monrovia City Court. It is from the office of the Ombudsman summoning the chairman of the National Elections Commission for her failure to present to that office in the current list of all registered political parties in Liberia. And so she has been summoned by the court, NEC chairperson Deviata Brown Lassana, and will be appearing on August 5 at the Monrovia City Court to answer to that complaint or petition from the office of the Ombudsman. And so this has been trending today, and a lot of people were so concerned about her delay, and that happens to be one of our topics.
But D-Flow, just before you go to the rate of arrest, the rate of summons, the rate of summons from the Monrovia City Court for the NEC boss, the president, based on the audit report of the Central Bank of Liberia, has suspended without pay the executive governor of the Central Bank of Liberia.
Aloysius?
Yes, I think that is a topical issue.
Okay, let's
breaking news.
Let's dive into that one. Yeah,
it's a breaking news. I just received the audit report. It's I think over 200 pages. I'm going to take tomorrow to go through it. But for the most part, that's what the president has said. That's the initial action the president has taken, because the audit report is very damaging. Very, very damaging.
Is he implicated into the?
Well, if he was not implicated, the president wouldn't have suspended him or without pay.
Really?
He's the executive governor of the bank. But the decay was all over the country, all over every sector of the government.
So let me get this straight. The central bank governor, Aloysius Talu, right?
Yes.
Suspended by the president of the republic.
Yes.
Do you know whether he's connected to anything that has to do with something from the central bank?
The president action is based on the key findings of the audit report.
Okay.
So if the findings of the audit report didn't implicate him, the president wouldn't have taken the action. The president action is based on the audit report. Okay. And these are just initial steps taken by the president to address some of the financial malpractices that permeated the corridor of the central bank over the last couple of years.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting.
It's very alarming. It's very alarming the way in which the country was managed over the last 6 years. We're going to try to rescue the situation, and we want to do it the right way. Somebody will ask, why only Mr. Tadu? But initially, the president is taking this action because of the finding of the audit report. there will be further step taken, whether because the audit report has to be submitted to the public accounts committee, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the public account committee will do their investigation to submit the outcome of their investigation to the executive for onward prosecution. I'm sure the president action will be followed by another action. Maybe an indictment or prosecution, because of some of the troubling revelation made in the audit report.
In the report.
Yes.
But let me ask you, there were 3 individuals that were taken to South Beach last night, if I'm correct, right?
Well,
Were there as Fabian? Did they have 3 persons, or how many persons?
I know that Mr. Jefferson Camo, I know that Stanley Four, and
so 3 of them, 3 former government officials.
And
are they staying in South Beach?
The former, I can speak to that. I know that was taken.
There were 5
Mm-hmm.
on the rate of arrest, and 3. The 3 were arrested yesterday and were weeks off to jail. So the 3 that were weeks off yesterday was Jefferson Camo, former National Security Advisor,
Okay.
former Solicitor General Councilor Yanati Twan,
Okay.
and the controller of FIA, Moses Cooper. So today is the second day and night at Demon River Central Police.
Sure.
Okay. Let's leave it. Let me welcome the Liberia. Liberia, do you have a question? Second question.
Ask my question now.
Okay, then Thomas, let's bring in Thomas. Liberia, hold on, let's bring in Thomas. Say he's ready. This will be his first one. Thomas, go ahead.
Yeah. So then, on the issue of that ombudsman request, what reasons has there been? What reasons has the NEC provided for not releasing the list? And I will also add another one.
But Thomas, before you go to that, since of course he brought us something about the governor from the central bank, you want to touch that? Do you have any question on that side? Instead of the National Elections Commission?
The arrest of the
no, the suspension of the governor of the central bank.
Oh, that still dwells on the same issue of the ongoing audit report, right? I thought
that's correct.
Moving forward with another topic. But I can ask the honorable minister. Has it been has there been enough reasonable doubt, with respect to his involvement? Or was it just something that he probably overlooked, and he has been that he's been prosecuted for? Because as a central bank governor, you are way at the top there. So some of those communications, I'm wondering, sometimes might not even reach you. So I don't know the details of the process at the central bank, but could you elaborate briefly on what exactly unfolded that has gotten him engulfed into this whole saga?
So the decision to suspend the executive governor of the central bank is based on the Auditor's General report. The audit discovered that the operation of the Central Bank of Liberia during the audit period were not in compliance with the CBL Act of 1999 as amended and restated in 2020. It was not in compliance with the Revenue Code of Liberia Act of 2011, the Public Financial Management Act of 2009, amended and restated, and restatement of the PFM Act of 2009 and 2019, the Public Procurement and Concession Act of 2005 as amended and restated 2010, and its regulation, the CBL policy and procedures and general banking principles, the failure of the CBL to make available to the GSC its accounting software, Microsoft Great Plains software, and the fiscal year 2023 financial statements of the CBL. These are, according to the president, these are serious allegations of non-compliance and gross failure to perform his duty, a fiduciary responsibility, for which additional actions are being contemplated. Those are the reason why the executive governor of the central bank was suspended without pay by the president.
Thomas?
Yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
Okay, that's it from you. Liberal, go ahead. Take it away.
Thank you. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are enough.
Go to the central government issue. The bike on to and that statement is restricted to the Minister of Information. I think what you young people are doing in ministry is something that we're all supposed to clap for you, be proud for the kind of work that you guys are doing. But I will hope that the ministry will go farther than that and perhaps use himself as a bridge between workers for the Liberian government and some of the policy that the administration have specifically in fighting against corruption. In that the ministry perhaps can go from one ministry to another, schedule a time where they will bring in speaker to each of the ministry with all of their employees and say, this is a speaker, and the speaker would speak on the issue of corruption. With that, at Sese and Vanessa Patrick were always called, with that information, what corruption would do for you, why corruption will affect everyone, even within our ministry. And if you go on, it might not catch up right away, but I also believe that it will catch up very quickly. And one last thing I want to flip, let me flip Sese earlier question about the judiciary. Now, his question was, are you concerned that the fact that the judiciary, because we've been reading about it, they are not getting their pay, and they've been complaining, and I'm speaking the real total English right now, they've been complaining about not getting good money. You think they will pay attention to you? But let's flip that on the other side. So what if the judiciary themselves are so upset? Oh, these are the people that are taking money, and because of them, we can't get paid? May you throw them in jail. What happened? Those are the kinds of things as a liberal that I looked at. But I think you guys have that under control, and I really appreciate it. Now, on a very serious note, the bank governor is a kinsman of mine, and he's like a little brother. I know him real well. He and I have been on a lot of conversation. But after he ascended to that position, I didn't push him away, but I stay away. Because the reason was those of us that believe individual responsibility try to stay away. He has a position now. He's working for the government. I don't want to be, not that I don't want to be part of his life, but I try to stay away from him, from even talking to him, advice, whatever. He's a grown person. So I'm just saying it in the interest of fairness. I just want, because other people will watch and say, but Mr. Toh, you know him, why you didn't make that kind of announcement? So I want to make that clear. Now, that does not mean that the bank, central bank government cannot speak for himself, and I'm not here to speak for him. I'm not even going to attempt. So on the issue of the president suspending the central government, one of the things that I read also is that, and this is very diming, for someone that I know, and I will push that line, for someone that I know who was capable, as far as I'm concerned. But this is what the auditing report, GAC observed, the central bank management exceeded approved expenditure limits from fiscal year 2018 to 2022 by approximately $19 million. That means when the people said this, government said this is the amount, but he approved more than what it that, and this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. Liberia is not elephant meat. We have to try to stay away from those things. So the president has the right and it seems within his purview anyway, to suspend. And if it's not affecting any law, whatever, then I think the suspension will stand until whatever decision the government had. But you can't have somebody who has overlooked or approved $19.1 something million and said that person should stay in the same office, I think that would be pretty much their division of duty as the police, which I'm not part of, I would say. So I think the suspension for me is on course.
Thank you, Liberia. It's about 9:30. Honorable Minister, can we take some calls?
Certainly.
Invite
We said a lot you want to hear from the Liberian people.
Yeah, let's hear from the people, because by 10 o'clock we should let you go sleep. So,
sure.
So you get prepared for the next day, right?
Yeah.
Let's go to the line here and start off here. It's about the call number to call. This is your time for you to participate. If you listen to us, right, it's 0772-876-481. I repeat, 0772-876-481. Or your best, 0880-514-096. Let's hear from you. The minister is waiting here. Deputy Minister for Ministry of Information and Public Affairs. Let's welcome that caller. Caller, good evening. Your name and where you join us from? Hello? Hello? Check your... Yes, good. Hello, caller. Your name and where you join us from?
My name is Mr. Mohammed Sharif.
And go ahead, working. Okay.
My question to the minister: people that have been indicted, in case they found guilty, what will be their penalty? What will be their penalty to human people? So that people have your got to set an example. So that next time when somebody get in that position, they will be scared. They will make a change. So that's my question.
Thank you. Let's take the next one. Your name and where you join us from? Hello, caller. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Let me say good evening to your studio guest, Mr. Sando. Yeah, I have a question. Hello?
Go ahead. You are live.
What's your name?
Yeah.
What's your name again?
My name is Joseph here. Do join the conversation on the board.
Go ahead, Joseph.
Yes. Let me ask people who this. I have a question. The other people that come out from the GSC, how many persons were indicted and how long will the process take for the people to do investigation?
Thank you. Thanks for your participation. Let's take the next caller. Your name and where you join us from? Too bad. Hello. Hello, caller. Your name and where you join us from?
Good morning, sir.
Good evening to you.
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name and where you join us from?
Yes,
Go ahead. Let's hear you.
yeah, thank you, Mr. Minister. I appreciate it a lot. Yes, legislatively. But please, Mr. Minister, Liberia need to grow. If you listen to the amount of money that being extorted from the government, our private school, please, if you want to investigate for guilty, then go to Kuji and labor. No. Let us pay for it. We need our money back. We are suffering.
Thank you.
Mr. Minister.
Thank you. Let's take the next call. Caller, your name and where you join us from? Hello. Good evening. Hello. Your name and where you join us from?
Hello.
Hello. Your name and where you join us from?
Stephen Russell, calling from Maryland.
Welcome from Maryland.
What's your name?
What's your name again?
My name is Stephen Russell.
Stephen.
I'm calling from Maryland.
Okay, go ahead from Maryland. Can you bring down your device you're listening to, so you just listen straight for your receiver? Stephen, go ahead. Let's take the next call. Stephen, good evening. Your name and where you join us from?
Hey, good evening. My name is Jerome M. Popper. I'm calling from the Arahi Highway.
Go ahead, Mr. Fogwa.
I overheard the Superintendent of the Prison a few weeks ago announcing that the prison compound is completely occupied for now. My concern has to do with now that this government is trying to maybe follow those who have some corruption allegations. Do they have a specific area that they will be able to gain while the persecution is going on?
Thank you. Let's take the next person. Your name and where you join us from? Hello? Good evening. No. Good evening, caller. Good evening. Hello?
Yeah, good evening, Diplo.
Good evening. Your name and where you join us from?
Thank you, Chief. Let me say good evening to the rest of the panelists and to our dynamic minister, Janice Sando. This is the voice of Kwewu with and I joined this conversation from this show today.
Let's hear you.
Thank you. Let me appreciate the honorable minister for the information provided to the Liberian people, and I think this is a good thing from the to organize this platform. Government officials will come to the right minds of the Liberian people to be fair throughout the day. The Liberian people will be fair with false propaganda from other media institutions. I would like this at least. Let them hear good information and work in the progressiveness of their government, that they will know that they are voting not voting in favor. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take the next one. We have another one. Okay, let's take the next call. Your name and where you join us from? Hello? Hello?
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name and where you join us from?
My name is William B.S. calling from Bon County, Central Liberia.
Welcome, William, sir. Are you listening by Facebook?
I'm listening. I look at the TV in my house in Banga.
So that means we are watching on TV?
Live.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me, Minister Sando, good evening to you.
Good evening, Chief Colin.
Thank you. I hope the olives should go across the countries in the Republic of Liberia. It's not going to be limited to Boswell County, Pacific, in Monrovia. Various superintendent, leaders of the Brewer County, they will count their money allotted to Brewer County, and we will see the impact of the government, the past government. We hope it's not going to be limited, the olives will not be limited in Boswell County, because the entire country is bleeding. The way the money is, the people were treated, no drugs in the hospital, no school system is down, and the road network is also bad, and no project was dedicated the past 6 years in Bon County. So I hope, Mr. Minister, the official spokesperson of the government, I hope that it's not be limited in Monrovia County, it's to go across the country in all sectors. Thank you. God bless you.
So we're going to take 3 more. We're going to take up to 9:40, and then we'll pass them to the Deputy Minister for him to answer the questions. Then we go to our panelists to close up. So let's take about 3 more calls, and we have about 9:38, right? Let's take 2 more, of course. Good evening, caller. Nima, where you join us from? Hello. Hello. Good evening. Can you hear me, caller? Hello. Good evening. That caller is off. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Good evening. Where you join us from? Your name and where you join us from?
Alvin Smith calling from Brooklyn Road.
Alvin, go ahead. Let's hear you.
I would like to tell my dynamic president, thank you for the poster that he took. And if anyone found guilty, let him be dealt with. So that will set a deterrent that whosoever would carry on that attitude will be punished. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll take 1 more and the final call. Who that will be a female? Let's see how you call her. Your name and where you join us from? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Hello,
Hello, your name and where are you joining us from?
I'm Bowman Lawley, and I call you from Police Academy.
Let's hear you.
Okay, my question here tonight is to the minister. Standard rate was issue. Cemetery is not in the country. Does the government have any timeline that Tower needs to appear? Appear to to answer question from the court.
Thank you. So that wraps up the call in time, and tomorrow we'll be here. But let's go to turn over to the minister so he can answer the questions. Minister?
So let's see how many calls.
How many you have there? I didn't count them. I was not counting, but you wrote them, right?
Yeah.
13 calls.
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So I'll start from the last.
Please do.
Mohammed talk about he wants to know whether there's any time frame for the
former finance minister,
the people identifying the rate of arrest. I don't know, be too personal.
Okay.
Whether there's any time frame for the people identifying the rate of arrest to turn themselves over. When you read the rate, is written in plain language. The sheriff of the court is instructed to arrest the living bodies of those identified. So what I mean is that you have to avail yourself. Avail yourself. Not availing yourself would suggest that you're trying to abscond justice. Right?
Okay.
I'm not a lawyer to see what are the time frame attached to it. What I do know, when a rate is issued for you, you have to avail yourself.
Okay.
A rate is public knowledge. The fact that he even went on social media, someone went on social media and made statements in reference to the rate of arrest, suggests that they are aware of it.
Yes.
So if you're out of the country, you have to contact your legal team to make representation on your behalf. But the crime for which you are accused, right? It requires a living body to be present in court. Okay. So you can't stay out of the country and do it. So you have to, avail yourself before the court so that the process can begin. The sooner the better. Arvin Smith thanked the president for the step taking. Of course, when people vote for leadership, they have expectation. And I have consistently said that people don't vote for leader because they simply like you. They vote for a leader because they want you to do certain things that the previous government didn't do. If you get there and you get consumed by the trappings of power, you don't do it. That's how they get you out.
That's
right.
Correct. That's correct.
In the instant case, the president has said that he's more focused on working to serve the next generation of Liberians. He's not focused on the next election.
Not at all.
Because, it's just simple. It's like the chicken and the egg scenario, right? If you get a goose and lay the golden egg, how you get an egg?
I know, right?
So if you work and meet the expectation of Liberian people, then your approval rating increases, and then you become the favorite of the voters. So you can't say, 2029 is 5 years away from now, I will do everything focusing on politics. No. Focus on the governance aspect, and when you succeed in achieving a significant portion of your campaign promises and putting the country on the right trajectory, the election will be an issue of the past. So yes, we're not surprised that the president is working. Chief William Cawley talk about the audit should not just be limited to Maserati County, the seat of government. Chief, I can say to you that I know for a fact that compliance audit began in Basel yesterday because the superintendent had written the GAC, and I'm told that the audit process had already started. We want to do this thing so that we can give the people, the Liberian people, a picture of what the country was over the last 6 years. And what are we doing to take it from that place? We're not giving excuses, but the audit report will be able to inform us who did the wrong thing, who did the right thing, and then we can move the country ahead. While the audit report ongoing, some good things have been done. The president has taken steps to end the culture of impunity, bringing the War Crime Code, the Office of the War Crime Code. It will be established for Liberia, and it's going to be supported by the people of Liberia, because everybody won for. There has to be some level of closure to our war years. There has to be some level of accountability. We want that. Something that linger within the corridors of our body politic for 21 years. No government could do it. He did it within 100 days. That tells you that the president is committed to end the culture of impunity. The next thing on audit here is that when you look at ministries and agencies of government undergoing renovation, I'm at the Ministry of Information, right? In the Ministry of Information, you see, we're now de-roofing the whole building because the whole roof is dilapidated and everything. When you go right down the Ministry of Information, you see the Ministry of Lands, the Ministry of Mines and Energy.
Yes.
Also undergoing renovation. When you go to the RIA, you see the Civil Aviation Authority. When you go to the Ministry of Justice, there are leakages all over, I'm told.
Wow.
So, I mean, what were they doing for the last 6 years? What were they doing? That we have to come to take office? You don't have decks? You don't have computers? You don't have vehicles? As if to say the country went through a period of civil upheaval, and you just have a government taking over. That's how you looking, D-Flow.
Wow.
That's how you looking. I live for your BS here. You have made a conducive place.
A little bit, but there are a lot of things around here too.
I mean, but even if Ministry of Information are looking at LBI, I'll be happy.
Really?
I tell you what, that building was filthy. So if you can have structural reform going across the government, look at the civil service, for example. Some of the good things that the civil service does, the reform he's bringing. So I mean, it's a double edge in the approach that we're using to be able to get the country working again. It's so terrible. It's so terrible. Oh, Kwabu just commended another quarter. So Jerome said that he listened to the prison superintendent. The prison company is filled. I'm not too sure. The prison superintendent said that prison overcrowding there doesn't mean the prison is filled.
Yeah, no more room there.
No room there.
So you'll be extra rooms.
So the government does not have, because the only alternative place that people who are undergoing trial can be kept. Not to
that only Central South Beach.
That's South Beach.
No other place you can take them.
There are other prison compounds in the adjacent counties. So maybe if South Beach is filled, they can't host them there. They will have to carry them to neighboring counties. But they have to be under the jurisdiction of the court. Okay. And the only way you can do that is to keep them, is to detain them, at a place where they can be brought before the court at any point to answer to the charges for which they are accused. Okay, Joseph asks about how many persons are indicted by the GSC report from the central bank. I can't say that on the top of my head. Ishmael said we should send people to jail. Of course, the government is not yet in the business of sending people to jail. The essence of the prosecution is not to send people to jail, is to maybe restitute money, right? Because some of the people, they own properties around here. If you go to jail, and that public money, if you are accused of stealing over 6.5 million of public money to your personal use, and in some instance you are found guilty, hopefully we can be able to confiscate your properties. The court can be able to confiscate your property, and get somebody money back to improve the condition, the physical condition of the schools and hospitals. That's what we need to do. There are people who go to the medical school, they don't have places to stay.
So you basically can do plea bargain. You take the guilty plea if possible.
Yeah, but when I want to go into the legal rigmarole, that's in the court. Yeah, but I mean the teachers deserve dormitory, right? So people take money, they build houses, they build luxurious homes around. Government could confiscate some of the property and say we want to use it for public. You got a public money,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So we're not just interested in people going to jail. People going to jail. What become of the Liberian people? Another caller, Sharif. Okay, what would be the penalty for the indictees if found guilty? I'm not in the code. The crimes of which they accused of. When you go to the penal code of Liberia, right?
Yes.
You go to the penal code. The crimes are defined and the punishment are prescribed there. So I can't say on the top of my head, but I mean, we want some level of restitution for all the things that have been done here. Basically,
those are the biggest ones.
Yeah, those are the main issues. Those are the main issues. Okay. Yes. Yeah, those are the main issues that I thought I took that.
Okay, at least you answer some of them.
Yeah. So to conclude, it's a national conversation that we'll continue to have in the interest of our country. Nobody is consumed with power. Nobody is witch hunting anybody. We want to leave an example that people can understand that public service is not about enriching yourself. I'm a Christian. When Jesus Christ spoke with his disciples, there's a place in the gospel as recorded by St. Matthew, and John and James went to Jesus quietly, and they said to him, when you come back and establish your kingdom on earth, I won't be on your right hand. And then the other one said, I'll be on your left hand.
Your left hand.
And Jesus Christ asked them, do you know the cup from which I drinketh? They said, yes. He said, you know not what you say. But for you to be on my left and the other on my right, it's not for me to give to you. It is reserved for he who sent me. But the person who will be leader among you must be the servant. Leadership at the national level, at all level, is about being a servant. You can be a servant of the people and you live in luxurious extravagance. I mean, how do you feel? You live here, you go to Ghana, you live in your pink house, your apartments, in a gated community, and you come to Liberia, and when you go on Broad Street, it's only when everything's smelling. How do you feel?
I know, right?
How do you feel? How do you feel? So whether you stole money, you bail horse, whether you stole money, you bail horse, bro, you are equally as guilty as charged. It has hurt our country for decades, and we have to depart from this. The infrastructure, social infrastructure development of this country rests on the shoulder of Liberian leaders. How we make our case to people who want to help us, how we manage the meager resources that we have, how we manage the natural resources of the country will determine whether the country will make progress. A country, imagine, 177
years.
We don't have a fitting airport that meet international standard. Every day you're here till you go Ghana. You're here till you go Turkey. Your finger bring you go the place. What happened to your own country? How many Liberians can afford to get on the plane to go Ghana? Why don't we work to improve our system so that when we are in our retirement age, we can say, look, I have good hospitals. I don't have to go anywhere.
To be proud of your country.
We have good schools. My children can go to school here. It's far cheaper. Someone send their children to a foreign country to go to school, they spend thousands of dollars. Why? Because they don't care to improve their own system. It has to end. And if it would mean that President Joseph Boakai would be that leader who would take credit for getting the country back on the right trajectory, we have no regret. He's willing to do that. But our friends have to give democracy the chance to work. President Boakai is the president of the country. The government is in charge. The government has a responsibility to do some of the things that we're doing to inspire confidence. The orator, before I conclude, one of your guests, Samuel, talk about us going to various public institutions to speak to people about corruption. This aligns with the orator's suggestion. That public officials must go under the scrutiny of civic education. This is a country. They make you one minister and the next thing you want to have a second home. You take all your children from your care in there, bro. Everything you do now, you say, man, I don't care. If you're not in power, you on the next plane, you leave.
Yeah.
So that's why the country go into a vicious cycle, because there's no sense of belonging. There's no sense of patriotism. So I agree. Maybe it's about time that we revisit our curricula to begin to teach civics at a higher level, even at university. People have to know that the first duty of a citizen is to be patriotic to your country. Because if you have that sense of patriotism ingrained in you, you will not take 6.5 million that will improve the hospitals and divert it to your personal use. That's absolute wickedness. And we have to give justice a chance to prevail, because we are a country of law. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister, Deputy Minister of Public Affairs, Daniel Sano, there for taking of your extra time to be with us on Nightline Liberia. Folks, let me come to you quickly here. We're about to wrap this thing up. So let me hear the Liberal. Yeah, you can. The Liberal, let's hear from you 1 minute so we can wrap this thing up. Time is not too good on our side.
Yeah, thank you. I want to say thanks to the minister. I think tonight is a very interesting night. On this show tonight, I saw Dr. Miley, I saw Terry, the gospel guy. This is a wonderful, wonderful show tonight, to be honest with you. No, but D4, I think President Baka has wakened the good spirit of Liberia in the young people. And I believe, listening to this minister tonight, I believe that this minister will impact the other young people within this government to make sure that they do things right. And I think President Baka, like I said yesterday, and I will say it again, those of us that from the countryside, we know that when you have an older person, your duty as a young person is to take in more of his experience, is to soak in all of the experience that he had and to learn from him. Because with him, with that wisdom, come with mistake that he has made. You can learn from those and not make the similar mistake. Come with the learning process that you have gone through and make sure that you even improve on that. This is a wonderful show, and I think the minister tonight just make me feel more proud to be a Liberian, make me feel good to be a Liberian, and that the future day of Liberia is way ahead of us. To have a young man like this to come out and speak this eloquently about Liberia and the future of Liberia, I got nothing much to say but to say thank you. And I'm very happy, D-Flow, for you to make me this part of this program, to watch this. This is the history in making, and we're here to watch it. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's hear from Guia.
Yeah, thank you. I hope that
we have just 3 minutes left. So
I know. I wish the minister was here, but I'm sure he will listen. This was really engaging and it was informative. I want to really quick say hello to a high school classmate of mine I haven't seen in decades. Mason Bobby Yoga say he's watching from GSC Row. Hey Mason, what's up, man? We all graduated RC Lawson together way back. Look, witch hunting to the extent that it means politically motivated prosecution is wrong. And I don't think anybody can argue that. So that's the metaphorical part of it. The literal part of being a witch is when you can approve over $19 million above authorization, way more than how much is put in the budget for education for the whole country. When you can take $6.5 million for your personal use, more than the budgetary allotment of a lot of other institutions. When you can use $6.5 million while our children are working in Soniwe, in Pupu Water to go to school, to public schools. When our people living in Busa Quarter have to smell the stench of the drainage. When people have to live without the benefit of pipe-borne water. When you can take $6.5 million for yourself. And you come here and argue that you expected a corruption suit because last time you didn't prosecute the Ellen government, so this government should not prosecute you, then you are a walking witch and you should be hunted like Wetamo used to do in Lofa County. That is my point. And so I think the minister ended on the issue of civics. And I would just love to say here on this show that I hope that the current government takes seriously Article 6 of the Liberian Constitution that talks about educational access to all Liberians, but also Article 10 of the Liberian Constitution that talks about teaching the Constitution in Liberian schools, because this is the way that we can be able to tell our brothers and sisters that when somebody takes from the collective pot, they are taking from a lot of other people. So you don't take what is not due you. You don't take what is for everybody else for you alone to use. So thank you for having me on the show, D-Flow. And my sister Fabian, it's nice to always be on the show with you. My pop, Mr. To, it's nice sharing the stage with you always.
Yeah, the minister spoke lengthily. He engaged the callers on several issues, and our panelists also engaged him, and the questions were worth it. And so we want to conclude by saying that we'll give the judiciary the time and chance to see the suspected government officials being prosecuted. And we hope to see it as a holistic approach, because the issue of witch hunting, I don't think that word now should be introduced into this
discussion, right?
Yes, because I think it's not about witch hunt; it's about people being involved allegedly in some acts, and that needs to be brought to book. Because if we do that, with the help of the Ministry of Justice and the LECC, that would serve as a deterrent to who be officials or others that want to be engaged in such. And so I think we should do away with that and see how best we can forge ahead for this country to move forward under this government that has so much in store for Liberians, both home and abroad. And so on this note, I would like to thank our panelists and our guest, the Honorable Deputy Minister that left from here. And we hope to have more of these discussions in the coming days as it relates to our program here.
Thank you. On behalf of the team, I want to say, as I always say here, our panelists have always taken up their time to come here to do a national duty for the country that they don't get paid for. On behalf of the team, I say thank you guys very much. And just as I always close, I say, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. And in the voice of our president, think Liberia, love Liberia, and let's be Liberia together. Good night, Liberia. Bye-bye.
The Department of New Media and Rebranding of the Liberia Broadcasting System presents Nightline Liberia. From the valleys of Liberia to the top of Wologisi Mountain, Nimba, Grand Kipmount, River G, to the coast of Sino, Bassa, Bong, Riverses, Maryland, Margibi, Grand Cru, Bapolu, Grand Jide, and Monserrado. We present to you Nightline Liberia, a primetime talk show loaded with factual news, fresh information, not fiction. Nightline Liberia. We set the tune. We control the airwaves. We are the nation's pride, the biggest platform. Our panelists are some of Liberia's brightest and best political analysts from diverse backgrounds, like Vandela Patrick, Dr. Lester Zumatic Tene, Al Hussein Fadiga, Sansin Brown Toole, Daniel Sando, and Eugene Lamin Fangon.